Rightio, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another video. In today's video, we'll be doing something a little bit more different. You know how there's a lot of brawlers per rarity? Well, I've been meaning to make this video for a few months. I will be ranking the laziest brawlers to push and the toughest for each and every rarity. Starting off with the Trophy Road rarity. Now, I will count Shelly in because, she has the same rarity icon as the others. So let us begin. So I'll be using bot lobbies to make my points here. So we'll start off very simply. So I have two nominees for the laziest brawlers to use. And those two nominees are, of course, Ems and Shelly. Now, why Shelly, might you ask? Well, Shelly is, in a nutshell, well, it's because... Wait, I didn't shoot that. But Shelly is a shotgunner. And her maps rotate constantly. Maps that are very enclosed with bushes are very constant. Very constantly rotate into the solo showdown map rotations, and even some maps like Snake Prairie are still suitable, meaning that she's actually good in some other modes like Bounty, etc. And she could actually do really good in other challenges, which honestly I'm anticipating for quite a bit. Now, why Ems, might you ask? Because her entire trick is to fool people into believing that if you walk into her, you'll get hit more. But really, it's quite the opposite. Her cloud of what appears to be perfume does more damage the longer that the enemies sit on it, and if they back up, they take more damage. If they come up close, they don't take as much damage. And not just that, slowing down enemies and preventing them from getting into the friend zone. And same goes for her gadget, which is basically made to push enemies away and works up to her advantage. So it's really just equal between Shelly and Ems. And I'm gonna have to pick Ems because of her competitive advantage over Shelly, because of her having more use and variety within 3v3 modes, and having somewhat a bit of leverage in solo showdown as well. Now, as for the toughest brawler to play, this is 100% gonna have to go to Dynamite. Dynamite is tougher to play because you have to predict where the enemy went. As you could remember in yesterday's video, you saw how I taunted the other Dynamites in the match yesterday. You saw me just randomly making them back up. Like, you see, you have to predict. You can't really use your auto aim to get out of this situation. And you see, that was a mistake what I did right there. But as you can see, I'm not really allowed to use my auto aim for that, because auto aiming just will not work. Nor will just lazing around and trying to hit one stick. You have to try and hit both sticks. Also, besides that, he has low health and when he gets attacked by a counter, he really cannot hit them. And you know which counter I'm talking about. The creature of the night. The creature of the night himself, Mortis, has come into the mainstream here. And there are so many brawlers that could end up getting countered by, I'm sorry, I can't talk. By Mortis. But anyways, I think that it's sometimes very tough to play Dynamite. Also, I like the new facial expressions on him. Okay, so with the Trophy Road rewards zone cleared, I think you know how this will work from here on. Okay, now moving on to the rare category. We have very few brawlers that qualify in this area. So, who do I think is the laziest brawler to push? This is 100% gonna have to go to Rosa. Now, it was not very hard to pick between El Primo and Rosa, since they both have similar abilities, but one thing makes Rosa shine better than her very own contestant. While her mobility isn't as big, she has a tank shield, a lot of health, but more importantly, when she shoots, her range is just the same as El Primo, but it has a radius of some sort, which is really good in some situations where you need to fight more than one enemy and they're trying to get away. And they're trying to step out of line. She's gonna make the enemies either split or end up getting themselves eliminated. Also, another thing to note is that her bush star power, or her bush gadget, excuse me, her gadget is very, very good. It's basically pocket bushes, as I would call them. So pocket bushes are basically covers. Look at this. So bushes. So this bushy gadget is used to create basically camouflage for Rosa's. And it can work to her best advantage, because that way, when she's in here, sometimes it can be hard to notice where she is, or whether or not she's in here or in here, because you can also relay like this, which makes her more reliable in the modes like in some game modes like Solo Showdown, and even in some fairly tricky maps such as Snake Prairie, and in other bushy maps, such as Dark Passage, for example. I'm not gonna count Tilted Cavern Churn, or whatever that is, in the list because it's a little annoying. Now, the hardest brawler to play has unfortunately got to go to Poco. Now, while he's more of a support brawler, and while he doesn't quite necessarily shine in all competitions, he doesn't shine in all maps, obviously, but he doesn't shine in all the game modes. He falls short in some of them, such as Solo Showdown, for example. And here's my example. It's that he's more of a support brawler. He has star powers and gadgets adapted for him to heal his fellow brawlers, not to damage other brawlers. As you can see, he only has his attacks as an offense. And while the only kind of healing abilities that can heal him as well in the process are his super and gadget, it still makes it really, really hard for him to stay hot, to keep his head up in a solo match. As you can see, unless he's able to get a lot of power cubes in a very, very quick manner, he could be in trouble. And you can see I'm already in trouble. Well, I was doomed. But as I said, it's very, very down to, he has low DPS, he has decent health, but his abilities are more on the healing side, and he's more suitable for 3v3 modes, and he falls a little short in Solo Showdown, a place where Rosa thrives and easily outperforms him, and easily outperforms Poco. Now, moving on to the rare section. Now, I really hope that you guys can understand this idea. So, we have two very decent brawlers to pick from here. Darrow and Jackie. There's a reason that I'm picking between these two, and I'll show off each and every example. Now, for Darrow, amazingly high hit points, lots of damage, being able to be executed up close, a gadget that suits him for managing to prevent his enemies from healing in very, very sticky situations, but also a very, very high mobility of some sort. Now, his mobility is very high because of a self-reloading super, which is something I wanted to mention. It helps him get up close and personal to enemies that think they can escape him. But in reality, they only get fooled, because if they think that he doesn't have a recharging super, then they'd be awfully wrong. But as you can see, Darrow can very easily clutch up a fight, and the one thing that keeps him this high up, makes him very easy to use, is the fact that he can roll across lakes, rivers, and whatever else in this game, and is even able to basically evade Brawlers' damage when he's using his steel hoops star power, which prevents him from taking damage while he's rolling, which is normally where he would get defeated by a lot of brawlers, but he outshines them in a way. Now, up next, it's Jackie, because, basically, you know already what I'm about to say. When she uses her attack, you only really need to auto-aim. There's no need to aim, so she's fairly easy to use for that. And she has some speed-based gadgets and some defensive and offensive star powers. However, I have to give this to Darrow. thanks to his immediately available mobility, it gives him a bit of an advantage. Now, the only hardest brawler to play in this is unfortunately going to have to be Penny. Getting your super at around 500 trophies can be a pain. You have to hit a lot of shots, you have to be on point with your shots, and outside of Solo Showdown, the only way you can hit splash damage and do more than the fixed damage is by having the enemies align, which is, in most cases, not going to happen. Also, her gadgets are more related around her mortar, which is fairly, like I said, fairly hard to get. And you see, I ended up in that sticky situation kind of on purpose. But my main point is her health is fairly low, she's easy to pounce on because of her low DPS, and really just doesn't fit too well in the... and really just doesn't fit that well in the competition for me. So Penny has got to be one of the hardest brawlers to push. And alone, the hardest one for the super rares. Now moving on to a fairly stacked section, 7 brawlers here. Now, in the epic category, there are a lot of brawlers that are strategical, but, you know, let's start off with the easier ones. Now, it was really a tie between Edgar and Bibi. And Edgar because of his extreme mobility once you have his gadget, but at the same time, he can easily end up getting bodied by a shotgunner, and there are a lot of those in the game, so he's an easy to counter. So, I gotta give this one to Bibi. Aiming with such a huge radius is eminently very easy, and you see me clutch up a lot of times because of her fast recoil, meaning the time between her shots. I mean, look at this. I'm gonna swing twice. Boom, bam. Oh, I lagged. But you saw it. I swung twice in about a second or so, and I was able to eliminate my very competition. Also, her 2 star powers are very suitable. For her. Ooh, my voice has never gone has never cracked that badly before. Anyways, Bibi's super is very good for trick shooting. You've seen me trick shoot a lot, and it's really cool because I actually can work on my aim at the same time. It actually helps you train your aim a little bit in some situations. Wow, what just happened? What? But Bibi is able to basically hit a lot of trick shots with her super, and you have to make minimal adjustments to when you're aiming at a brawler, because you've seen me use this strategy before, but I need to show it to you. Now, when I've gone at enemies before, you see me, even if they're on this side, say they're on the side I'm aiming at, I'm gonna aim this way because we're going that way. So when I hit him, he's gonna get knocked back like that, and that way I only have to turn my speed to one way. Also, I need to mention that she's a very fast brawler, which helps out a lot. Oh, I saw that opportunity, I took it. But yeah, Bibi is a rather easy brawler to play, doesn't require that much skill, and all in all is very suitable for a lot of the modes. She doesn't really require bushes because of her speed, she's already fast enough as it is. It's very easy to finish off brawlers, and once she's in that zone, it's over. This is when you say, it's game. I lost. Now, the epic category also has one very tough brawler to play for fairly new original or non-original brawlers, and that is Piper. Piper really doesn't seem like such a hard brawler to play. But let me tell you, if you think that Piper is a very easy brawler to play, she really isn't. Just please don't underestimate that, because Piper can be very hard to play. You need to have her very own. You need to have her gadget, and you need to have a decent star power on her. Now, as you can see, I can hit my shots well because I've played her a lot. On or off video, I've played her a lot, so I've gotten good at predicting and knowing where enemies are about to go. Oh, getting a little too close there. Yeah, that's right, please go away. There we go. Thank you very much. And it's really rare that you would have to auto-aim your shot onto an enemy like I just did right there. Just because they're up close and they really don't need that much damage to be dealt in order to be defeated. For them to put down their gadget of some sort that they use to eliminate you and say, you beat me. So Playing Piper is very hard, and she only has one getaway, her super, which can help her get over rivers again. But really, at the end of the day, that's the only real big thing. And her homing gadget, which she can only use 3 times, and basically doesn't really have any other help. And it doesn't quite appeal to new players, which is a little hard to use. And she's good in open maps like Dark Passage, like the one I'm playing right now. However, she really will struggle. She really does struggle in other maps like Turn, Feast or Famine, etc. Unless she has lots of cubes, of course, and you know what to do. That's the only time where doing anything will work out in your favor in that case. So Piper is definitely a tough one to play. Now, for this next one, for the Mythics, I will also try to include Colonel Ruffs in case he influences my very own thoughts. Okay, so this one was a very tough one, but I think that personally Mr. P is your best bet when you're playing Brawl Stars. And if you have him, I think he's the easiest brawler to push, because his attack is very, very easy to learn. It's basically a suitcase that bounces off of an obstacle and hits the ground. It can hit a second obstacle in return, just like this. I can hit a box twice, or I can hit 2 other boxes. Like this right here, I can hit all 3 boxes with 1 shot. And I can take them out way too easily. It's also very, very good for when you fool enemies into running away, like this. There we go, just doing lots upon lots of damage to that egg there. And all in all, his super is very annoying and ensures that other enemies don't get a chance to heal, which works out very well at the end of the day. And you see, that was a very easy finish. It's just so easy to pile up damage. So it's so easy to pile up damage at the end of the day. And I gotta give it to him. Brawler. There is no doubt in my mind that this is a very, very good brawler. And you see that so much. You've seen Mr. P in competitive modes, just basically me getting deleted or me deleting people with Mr. P very rarely, because I don't play him much. But he's a really good brawler, and he's your best bet as far as mythics go. Now, the trickiest brawler to play as far as mythics go has got to go to Mortis. Mortis is very, very complicated for some reason. Now, I know his attacks are very basic, just moving ahead and doing just a little bit of damage. Now, here's the thing, is that when you're playing Mortis, his attack regenerates slowly. He doesn't do a lot of damage. He takes 5 shots to break any box in solo showdown to start, if he's at level 9, of course. And not just that, while his health is decent, he really can struggle, because while he can get away, if he's fighting a ranger, like for example a Brock or a Piper, he could be in trouble. Like you see, I could have been in trouble right there, because I was trying to get away, but I had no attacks, and it takes time to reload. And that also puts him at risk, at the same time of him getting potentially eliminated way earlier in the competition. Also, throwable pets like Nita's bear can also be another trouble when you're playing Mortis. Because if you're getting chased by one of those smelly things, if you're getting chased by one of those smelly bears, you are going to be getting chased until the end of the decade. Oh, he's chasing me still. And you see, you can't really hit him because he'll hit you back a lot of times. Oh wait, I actually can take him out, but it's only because I have a bunch of cubes. If I didn't, that would be the enemy. And Anita has another bear. So if the enemy doesn't take it out, I'm in trouble at winning this game. I'm in trouble trying to win this game. Yeah, I'm not winning this. But anyways, you see why he's tough. Slow reload speed is one of the things, and while he has had a gadget adapted for it, it's only 3 times for 5 seconds. So puts him at a bit of a disadvantage, and honestly just puts him in an uncomfortable situation. Not the kind of stuff I like to do a lot. And yeah, that's about it for the mythic section. Now, for the legendaries, I'll also include the chromatics. Now, considering that we're also putting in an entire category, I'll rank 3 easy brawlers to play. And my 3 easy brawlers are Leon, Amber, and Surge. Leon, Amber, and Surge are 3 very, very easy to play brawlers. Mainly because of the fact that they don't require that much skill unless the enemy comes on top of them. and that's only really for Amber. Because, you know, you have to aim your shots, you have to somewhat aim your shots. With Leon, you can just auto-aim on the enemy sometimes and hit all of your shots, or most of them. As you can see, that poor old Dynamite didn't even stand a chance. And there's a reason behind that. High DPS, very high speed, very fast speed, and a very decently adapted gadget come into play to make a very good brawler. Leon is such a good brawler, and it's not just the fact that he's actually good because of his high DPS, but also his star powers and gadgets are very well adapted for him. His gadget makes a clone of him that takes double the damage, but can be used as a meat shield against some brawlers, or it can be used to fool others. Like, for example, a bot, just so you can get a bit of an upper hand. Now, for example, unfortunately, I won't be able to use this in this game because I'm fighting a Jackie. But look at this. I'll actually try and show it. I'll put down my clone right around here. Right here. And look at this. She'll think that's the clone, and she'll empty out most of her attacks, which gives me a perfect opportunity to come in and finish the fight. And in the end, that technique can be very well used, as if you have everything. If you don't, he still does a lot of damage, and I'm pretty sure you can outscale your peers with him. Up next, Amber. Amber is very, very easy to play because, you know, she's basically like a spray and pray brawler.
I'm still on fire over here.
Because look at this, she non-stop spews fire. Look at this. He doesn't stand a chance. And neither does he. He doesn't know what he's doing. I've got him in limbo. Oh, he saw me. I forgot they have visibility. But let me go ahead again. Okay, so Amber. Some particular things make her very, very good at this game. First things first. Her consistent burst. Her consistent shots. You could either have them just non-stop spamming, or you could just make them like just like burst shots. Like you can do this, and it can work out pretty decently. Her gadget is adapted for her to get away and to set a trap down. And her star powers are very well made for her to be able to basically charge up her super and have more than one puddle on the ground. And that's pretty cool. I think that's a very good take on star powers and gadgets coming together to make something better. Let's just make the radius a little bit bigger. Walk on it. Cool. And now you are going to burn to death. Okay, there we go. And now I am going to die to his mines. That's alright. Anyways, Amber is very easy because she has decent health. Well, it's very good. She has decent health, is able to do a lot of damage with her being able to lay 10 ticks per second on an enemy, which can be super annoying. And her super working out in her favor in a lot of the situations. Now Surge. Now, a few things make Surge great. First things first, he has a unique ability. He's able to basically auto-charge his attacks. Like, for example, look at this. He's able to, or not auto-charge his attacks, but what I was trying to say was that he is able to basically upgrade his abilities by using his super, which not only does damage, but also gives him, like, a long-term competitive advantage. And that can really work out well. And that's not the end of the good possibilities. You see, I'm in trouble here. I can just teleport onto the other side. And I can just grab more of these cubes. And if the situation becomes sticky, I can just use my gadget to get away. And that's a really good gadget. Now his two star powers are fairly decent in 3v3 modes, especially the second one. But but his first star power actually has quite a bit of use. It actually has quite a bit of use. Now, I haven't quite played it yet, but it seems like a very good gadget. I've already gotten in by it. But like I said, back to that super upgrade mechanic. That's pretty cool and gives him a very good advantage. Like, you see, now I'm able to hit him. Even though I think I'm most likely going to not win this, I can still do lots upon lots of damage. Because of my decent range, I was able to dink him from the other side of the map without even being able to see him. And at the same time, his health isn't too much of a problem because he's basically like a tank. And then thanks to his super, he's able to go up the hierarchy. But to the max, his main attacks being able to split when they hit walls, it's not really that much of an effect, but it's still a fairly decent one. And I won't really judge it too much. Now, two brawlers that are very tough to play are Crow and Lou.
Nice
now,
piece of work.
I know this video has been very long, so I'll just skim through it. Crow has very low health, and while his poison is unique, it doesn't do lots of damage, and it's only really against squishy brawlers that it will really work well. And that really makes him way weaker in the meta, and he falls a little under the bus, so unfortunately he's not that good and it's tough to play. Up next, Lou. Because of his slow unload rate, he really falls a little bit behind, and also because it takes him quite a bit of time to take out those shots. Like I said, that just really puts him at such a disadvantage. While his health is decent, and his super does a little bit of damage, preventing brawlers from healing now, he still falls a little behind because of that slow shot. Because of his ability to shoot very slowly, or to unload those attacks slowly, which really puts him at a bit of a disadvantage. So here's my total list. I will have it down below. I will try to put it in the description down below. I'll try to make it like a PDF or something. I don't know yet. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. My name is MythicCell, checking out for the night. Ciao.